Hello. Okay. Well, let me close my door. Hello, Solar 7. I'm not. I don't even. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Red Panda. Hello, Ty Nelson. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Yes. We're gonna be doing more scripting. And yeah. Alright. Should probably commit some scripts, shouldn't we? Hello, Fitter. I don't even know how to say your name. Welcome to the stream. Everyone is welcome to the stream. Hi, dummy. Welcome to the stream. Alright, well, we're back in business. Should do some more programming. So, I actually scripted a exploit log thing. I don't know. Not gonna show you though, because yeah. But essentially what it does is that it logs stuff to the Discord server in a private text channel, and that's basically all it does. Not gonna go too much big in depth than that. Who am I? Look at my I know who you are. You're this X-wheel person that I feel like before. Yeah, I know. Okay, well, we're gonna go back into this part over here. So we scripted this. We can go back into here, and here we can do if I use free models, I do not. I do not use free models. Well, like, can you make my life better? Not sure. Hopefully I can, but yeah, I don't know. Like Red Panda, onto that. I don't really use free models for games, but sometimes I just like check them out, you know. Look what the scripts are and stuff. But otherwise, I really don't use them much. So yeah. Oh right. Can I help with terrain? No. Player can XP. So what is the issue? Attempt to call method give XP. Yeah? So you don't even have it attached to your level model. I send on copy locked game for you with the terrain. Why? Hello Exceedus, welcome to the stream. So you reached 600, huh? Yeah, I did, and that is why I am asking you guys that I can answer some Q&A questions. This is the third time, guys. Third time I ask this. Leave me some Q&A questions, and I can answer them, like now. Okay, so it was like, let's play this. Yeah, no, sorry, dummy, but no. Okay, I think the volume is a bit too high, isn't it? When did I start with Roblox? Like 2016. Can't remember what month, but like sometime in 2016. When did you guys get started into Roblox development? Okay, so I can't remember exactly. RP, I'm doing a Q&A for 600 subs, so yeah, just let me know some questions other than that. Hello Sunrise, welcome to the stream. Thank you, yes. Anyway, when did you start getting into Roblox developing? It was probably like, it was either 2018, like late 2018, or like mid 2018, or maybe it was like the beginning of 2019. I can't exactly remember, But it was something like that. And when I started, well, obviously I was horrible, but like, yeah, I was real horrible. And I actually started off as a builder when I started. Because, yeah. Then I started off as a scripter. Are you ever gonna reveal your face? I actually have revealed my face. Roblox is broken? I don't know. When did you get a life? Well, I don't know. I don't know when I got a life. All I know is that I breathe. Yeah, but am I ever gonna reveal my face? I did a face reveal. Well, I did a face reveal video. But if you look at the end of my video with like thanks for 2019, you should probably be able to find it out if you go to the Windows Videos tab. You should be able to find it. I revealed back at the end there. You can't play your own game. What? Yeah, you're lying. My Roblox won't load. Actually, I think that happens to the same as well. If we go into play here, I couldn't get on. When will you get fat? I don't know. You're asking the most weirdest game snore. See, it happens. It's the same as Studio. There's no game. The game has apparently started because I can hear the sound. Huh? Is Jailbreak gonna? Is this Roblox gonna break? Like, I'm in here. Well, let's go to down to texture detector. Yeah, I cover publishment you can Roblox. Yeah. Okay. Down the detector Roblox. I'm a dev with 1 million place visits. Cool. Can you rip me off? No. Alright, yeah, definitely down. Let's do a server connection. How do you rate Roblox for the past 3 months? Awesome. Okay, well, yeah, Roblox is down. Yeah. Live outage map. I don't know, do we need that? Oh, I got in! The data store is broken. The data store is broken. So yeah, Roblox is definitely broken. I can't see, yeah. I can't even log. I can't log stuff on Discord. So like everything right now is broken. Oh, I should peek all that actually now that I think about it. Okay. Hey, Rith, chill. Yeah, I know. No, Roblox is broken. Yeah, I know. Roblox is broken. I can like HTTP stuff. What you get everything is just breaking right now. No one knows. Like we don't know. The data store is working. It is saving. I can't copy all the scripts and leave to the passive. Trust me. Do you have data store? No, I'm not. No, I don't think I'm not gonna bother. It's probably something with Studio. It says here like API service rejected or HTTP on error, HTTP error, curl 52. It's something with like Discord being broken right now. Can't load anything. Yeah. I see a live outage map here. Yeah, it's down in the general area. It says it's down to Stockholm. It's not really. Well, it is, but yeah. It said if it says that your game would never save. Well, I'll just fix that. I'll just rewrite it. I don't mind. Like it isn't like people have like lots of data right now. I live in Sweden. Like I think most of the people watching right now lives in Sweden. I thought it was my computer. Yeah, I also thought like what is like yeah. I think if we scroll up here, we'll see some like arena stuff like. The frick is okay? That's like yeah. Is it by Norway also? Probably. I think it's like right on. Yeah, it's like right on Oslo. Right there, Oslo. Sweden, yeah. It's really hot and it's really like down in UK and US. But wasn't Roblox down like a week ago? Wasn't it? Okay, well. I guess while Discord is down, or no, not Discord, Roblox, then we can go ahead and have a Q&A. Give me some more questions. Also, if you want to join the official Discord server for this game, the link's down below in the description. Roblox was also down a little bit yesterday too. Yeah, I don't know why, but Discord has just been. Why do I keep saying Discord? Roblox has just been down really recently. Why, no one knows. Yeah, imagine having just someone down here and just having Roblox down here. Yeah, no. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we got some sheet locks. I think I'm gonna remove some sheet locks. No, I can't do that now. Or actually, I may be able to. Okay, not here. Can I do it here? Yeah, I don't think I can. Yeah, I also follow Rith down below in the description. Follow my Twitter. Follow his Twitter. All that stuff. Yeah. Let's get into the actual game. See what happens. You gonna be gray? Yeah, probably. Alright, that doesn't work. Yeah, I know. Does the Roblox application even want to start? Well, apparently not. Wait, you got in, Ruth? The frick? Nice. Huh. I don't know. Just trying to get in, but you're moments away to getting into the game, apparently. Did Roblox Heroes say, you know what? When Roblox is down, we have no other option but to turn to my. Okay, you guys are actually getting it. This is actually like I'm actually getting salty now. Why? Is Discord getting? Are we able to join? Apparently not. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Welcome to the stream, line of script. I don't even think I welcome you. Welcome, Beef in the pack. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to the stream. To the stream. It works to join, but it's still a little bit lag. Oh, okay. The entire website is apparently down for me. What? Oh no, I think it's an internet problem now. Okay, no, we're getting in. Just loading a frick ton right now. Say, okay, stop flexing. I haven't been able to get in now. Okay, we can just try for a studio, can't we? Can you have me on Roblox? Sorry, no. Okay, now what the fruck? My piece is like real slow right now. I should get a new one, but I don't know. Or I should like upgrade it. Refresh it. I don't know. Okay, Roblox Studio doesn't want to see to load right now. Ugh. Jesus, I'm tired at 6 p.m. What the fuck? Okay, well I woke up like 6. So like I've been awake for like 12 hours. I'm gonna help. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's try using my VIP server on jailbreak. Let's see if it works. Roblox is now loading. Get ready to play. Let's see if it works. Roblox works for me now. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I think I saw it loading. Alright, it's loading. Okay, now it starts. I think I think I can get in now. First I said call. No. No. No, Rith. No. No. Okay, join the development VC then. I'll join there in a second once I get in. Let's wait in development VC. You click beta. Well, you see, this Roblox is down. Like, I can't properly test anything. Wait. Data saved. Data loaded. I mean. Data loaded. Oh, it's our fine. No, it's part 5. Did I not change it to part 5? No, dude, I was, no, dude, I was clearly being ironic. I was being ironic. Are you gonna wait a development VC or no? Or are you even a development VC right now? You're not. This on Roblox doesn't work for me either. Yeah, Roblox doesn't. Oh, we're getting in. Scream yourself. Like I haven't screamed already. I scream like every 5 seconds. Oh. I'm tired. Now 6 p.m. Okay, it's really laggy. No hearts. No scream hard in pain. No. That'll work for you. Can I expect more? No, sorry, Victor. I can't add you. Okay, this is Roblox Roblox want to load, but Studio did want to load at least, and the data did save, and I believe the webhooks work as well. So you know what? That's all that matters. I'm sure if I go, I'm not gonna leave now, but I can start exploiting, or in quotes explaining. See if it still works. Although it's really laggy. But it's probably just because I'm streaming right now, but still. Alright, let's give it a second and we'll start detecting exploiting. It's really laggy. Yup, okay, it still works. Okay. Alright, because detected of me exploiting. Walk speeding. See, it said Rith Boy 1. Hey, Rith! Check the she logs. It says Rith Boy 1 has joined the game. Isn't that cool, right? Okay, and something happened here. But I successfully saved it. No, it actually didn't say it saved. Huh? It kind of let me into a game, yeah. It lets me in studio games. So that's the interesting part. Okay, well, guys. When Roblox is down, we have no other option but to turn to Minecraft. Can you guys relate? This error came up now. I don't know why. Okay, now something went wrong when we loaded the data. But that's fine. We just have like 500 money. Doesn't matter. We can work with 500 money. We just need to hope the data doesn't save. That's all. Yeah, well, it doesn't even let us in here because it can't even freaking log. Yeah, I can't save. Yup, it cannot save. Ah! Ah! Everyone while loading the video. Alright. Okay, well, yeah, like we have no other option. Hello, sperm baby. No, you're quiet. You're quiet. Yeah. So you see, we would develop, but You see, Roblox is kinda down. Arx called because I'm not gonna sit in time. Well, I said join development VC. Join development VC. That is an order. If you really want to join the call. I can't even get into Roblox Studio. This Minecraft launcher even is Minecraft also down? It's not down in the UK. No, stop. Stop. Hey, hi. Digital trash. If this website won't load, then I'll show you something to prove it wrong. Just kidding, I'm just not gonna be able to prove it wrong. This is the worst time to stream. No, I mean, this is the worst time for the Roblox to go down. Like, could Roblox possibly go down, like, later? Or earlier, maybe? I don't know. Actually, no, not earlier, because I'm going to be able to script the, cheating logs, which I'm really happy about, apparently. Why? I don't know. Oh, finally he joined Development VC. Joining. Okay, just give it a second. I'll join the call. There's 6 reports that Minecraft is down. Done. Yeah, no, Minecraft is not done. Down. Yeah, no, Minecraft isn't down. Look. It isn't like some server problem that Minecraft launcher will start. That's on my computer side. It's up and running. We'll have it there for later. Do you John so much? Yes, I do. Hello.
Okay, what's up, bro?
Okay. What do you think of the sheet locks?
Sucks, no.
What? Okay, do better.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Roblox is broken. What do we do?
oh, it's working for me, but you're a noob, so it doesn't, you deserve that it doesn't work for you, but it works.
No, stop. Shut up.
Noob.
Tired.
How are you tired at like?
I don't know, dude. It's 6:20 p.m. How am I tired at this time? I mean, I woke up 6 a.m. Just like going straight to my computer just because I wanted to see when like the update. But
yeah, well, Discord is broken too.
Roblox is down. Yeah. Hello, Donald. Welcome to the stream.
Yo, and Discord is broken too. Just so.
No, Discord isn't.
Yes, it is. I just see like.
No, that's something on my side or your side. It's not Discord.
No, it's your side.
No, it isn't me. It isn't me.
It isn't me either.
Well, then it's 5,000. Yeah, Jesus.
So it's on your side.
No, it isn't.
So
it isn't on my end.
Yes, it is.
Then it's some nonsense. Discord isn't broken for me. See, Discord isn't broken.
It's your fault.
So, okay, I don't know how. I did nothing, but okay. Not to mention I'm streaming and I'm lagging. So yeah, but it isn't.
Okay, so last thing I'm gonna say. Have good time playing alone because I have 26 million on vehicle simulator and I have to get to 28 right now.
Okay, lol.
So,
but when did you want to call then? Okay, bye. Alright. Well, I don't know, guys, by the way, how can Discord be broken if Discord recognizes that I'm streaming on YouTube? Like, Discord won't be broken like that. Okay, well, I mean, should we try getting into a game again? And if not, if it fails, we have Minecraft. Minecraft Dungeons! Sign up for updates! Yeah, no. Alright, let's use this one. Yes. Roblox is working? Well, I don't think this is working. How is this working, huh? And this page is like loaded like this. Like, no. Roblox is not working. Boy, press F5. No. It's still loading. Nothing is actually loading. Waiting for www.roblox.com. Connecting. Waiting for Roblox.com. Waiting for all this stuff. Press F5! Do it yourself, you tablet user. Just kidding. You don't know what F5 do? Digital trash. Seriously. You're actually digitally trash. Just kidding. Yes, F5 equals refresh page. It's the same thing like clicking it's like up here. Yeah, see, now it's just loading for me. It's just at this page. Yep, the reports. Okay, now how long is Roblox gonna be down for? Hey Arx, can I ask a question? Sure, go ahead. I asked my friend if Roblox is done in Canada, because he loves Canada. Have you ever played Papa's Prisoner? No, I have not. I'm afraid I haven't. Okay, guys. That time has come. Minecraft launcher. 3, 2, 1, let's play. We're playing Minecraft. Preparing. I have like Swedish on this thing, I don't know why. No, I'm not going to. We're playing Minecraft. Because that's the only option we have when Discord is in. Why do I keep saying Roblox? Not Discord. That's the only option when Roblox is down. You just left. No, Reth, you just left to grind. No, you just left to grind. It's not a Roblox. I am in Minecraft. It's got its own game. Yeah, I know. But still, no, Reth. No, you just left to grind and now you want to talk? Like, are you okay? We're gonna be playing survival. Survival, let's play. So, screw programming this game. We'll just start the live stream of, like, yes. I want you to talk. Well, well, no, you just left, so we're not talking. Sounds like only mods here. Yeah, it is only mods here. I have so many mods, but I don't really care. I talked like it could really be like basically everyone. Where did the music go? I don't know where the music go. I don't know what anything happened. But you thought you were banned, bruh. Okay, what am I trying to do? Okay, video suggestions. Jesus. No, I'm gonna play survival. Look, okay, single player. Roblox is down, so we are playing Minecraft. Okay. So Minecraft instead. MC. Alright, there we go. Survival. Create new world. I have never played Minecraft. Okay, create new world, please. I have never played Minecraft on PC. Oh. But everyone has like everyone here has played Minecraft once, okay? Whether it's on PC or console or whatever it is, like everyone has played Minecraft here. You just have, okay? Like Minecraft is a classic game. Like you just have to play sometime in your life. Join mcblock.net. No, survival for life. Okay, okay. PS4 is better for no lag. Yeah, I have a PS3. The main menu keeps coming up on OBS. Okay. We're hopefully generating. Huh? I think Minecraft is also broken right now. Okay, I don't think. Huh? Oh Jesus, a PS4. I only got my gaming laptop. No, you don't have a gaming laptop. You have an office laptop. Just kidding. Doesn't have an app. It's on a website. Well, no, because my internet's better. A website? That just reminds me. Screw Minecraft. Agario. The game that no one wants to play. Okay, my Minecraft doesn't even wanna close. No, no digital trash. No, we're not playing that game. Not even sure if I can stream properly. Like every game is just like not working. Like what the frick are we supposed to? I thought this was gonna be a productive live stream, but no, Roblox is just gonna die. Like come on. It's good for streaming. Your mom's good for streaming. Just kidding. Okay, Minecraft won't stop. Okay, guys. Live stream in a nutshell. Yeah. This is me when I try to grind and jailbreak. This is me trying to solve. My computer right now is me trying to solve like a complicated math thing. Like it's like. Huh? No, I'm lagging too much. Hey, wait, what's... No games arguing, and I'm tired. So I'm planning about ending the stream here. You know what, let's just talk in the shop for like 30 minutes, do whatever. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Okay, there's no one wanna talk in the chat. Huh? Hello? Anyone? Well. I can just watch on YouTube. But I don't at the same time. The stream is only like 30 minutes. But at the same time I do, because, yeah. Maybe, no, I'm talking. Oh, hi guys. Oh yeah, oh, Discord is, my shout was like really slow. Hi Red Panda. Hi everyone. No, Roblox is working. That you're just saying that just because I'm back here. But I'm gonna end the stream here. So everyone, join the Discord server down below. Link down below in the description. Join it. Join already. Yes, join it. You can find it down below in the description. Have you joined it yet? Okay, good. Alright, and then subscribe. And we will talk to each other tomorrow. The frame isn't even 1. Discord is broke. Dude, my computer. Okay, yeah, no, I just have to, guys. But thank you for watching. And yeah, bye. Let's just hope I can even end the stream. Okay, bye everyone. Thanks for watching. Join the